Okay, let's start with our first question. Okay, so what is the most effective performance management system that you have come across? I think for performance management system, we don't have to give a definition and so forth because we are all HR professionals. But what would be the most effective one that you have come across? Can anyone share with me on that? Like George? George, would you like to share?
I think there is um, not really that you have to use a good software or whether you have to use copy others reputed companies system to be in place into your company. End of the day, I think the most crucial thing will be the customizations. Based on my past experience, but I'm traveling around the world, I think you have to look at different company background and different understanding. What are the things they can achieve? The two things that I'm looking at is what are the main targets and objective they want to achieve. Then they can be achieved, and how can we reward them according to their performance stage. That's the part of thing that I measure so far.
Okay, okay. Thank you, George. I think it's right that we all begin with our ends in our mind, right? We just want to know what's the purpose of achieving it before we adopt some of the strategies. So how about the others? Do they any share on this? Anything to share on the most effective performance management that you have come across, especially for the system that you have deployed in your company? Have you ever come across with that, or you have any success stories to share with us? Mr. Ban, do you have any success stories to share with us?
Yes, Rita. Yeah, before I joined this company, I've been in the US company, and we experienced that using one a German application which we call success factor is good, and for my my feeling is this is the best performance management system that we have. It is a success factor. Success factor is a SAP product, and using this success factor, we can use this globally, and also each country can also use for the same platform. And we tried already to use the local performance management application, but it's not applicable for global. So currently, it's my opinion that success factor is the best one.
Okay, okay, good, good. Thank you. How about Mr. Mahan, do you have any to share on the most effective management system that you have come across?
Yeah, thank you, Rita. I think before we even look at the system that to support the performance management, the very fundamental issue that I think all organizations should adopt is that, or rather to look into, is that to have a very fair performance management system. More often than not, whenever there is a performance assessment or performance evaluation being carried out, either half yearly or full year at the year end, a lot of time we do hear. I've been to many organizations, and one very consistent grievances that I'm hearing is that the assessment is being done unfairly. Okay, um, we have to iron this out, and many of the time I have actually looked into it, and I have shared with many of my friends and colleagues that how we can ensure a very fair evaluation system, okay, or methodology. Now, we sometimes we hear people are saying, okay, or somebody is not performing up to the mark, why he is given a better performance as opposed to there's another more efficient and hardworking employees. All right, and then you have issue of one line manager is being very lenient and easy to give um, good evaluation, whereas on the other hand, there's another department where the manager is a very strict manager, and therefore his evaluation is stricter. So the employee of one department versus the other department, they do share these grievances, and they find it that to be unfair. So how do we actually ensure the entire organization uh, practice a very fair evaluation methodology? Okay. So one thing, in my opinion, is that we have to ensure that uh, very less human intervention in the process. Yeah, the human intervention that I'm referring to is the manager's discretion. Okay, manager's discretionary has to be limited. Okay, so that he if he were to be biased, then he do not, or he will not be able to manipulate much in terms of the performance assessment. So this is one thing that we have to look at very seriously, and we can use a good performance management system, either success factor or other system that is available, that where the manager can only if he were to favor someone, all right, we can't say that we have all managers as angels. We may have some managers who are biased, some who are who try to favor someone. Okay, so how much he can manipulate, it should be around 5 to 10% only. The rest the system should take care. All right, so when you set the performance target at the very onset, okay, everything has to be computerized, and uh, at the end of the day the achievement will have to be inputted and justified in the system, so that the manager will not be able to manipulate. I think the system, the best system is good, but the system should cater for this, should ensure that a very fair outcome when come to performance management. Because as all of us are aware, people does not leave organization. People leave because of another people. Okay, a lot of people left an organization because they are unhappy, they were unfairly assessed, they were unfairly given the performance rating. That's one of the reason why they're leaving. So at the end of the day, we in the human resource department, we have to ensure that in everything we do, there must be a very fair outcome. So whatever we do, if we were to deploy a system to assist in our process, then we must ensure that how the system can ensure that this particular process can be carried out fairly, without giving much room for manipulation. This is my take. Over to you, Rita. I will be basing on my experience for the last 20 years. I was also, uh, my last position before I joined the bank, I was a regional HR manager for a manufacturing company. Well, uh, back then we do not have much many system provider that can use to support the performance management process. Yes, there is no one shoe fit for all solution
Mm.
to ensure a fair performance management outcome, but we have to look at the environment and the organization and the type of business and the process. Then we can draw out a good system. To go on to your question, where you have low level employees coming and are seeking help from HR on how to seek your intervention to improve his rating, whereby he was unfairly rated. Well, I think to address that, if looking at a specific case, I always evaluate and find out to see whether there is performance appraisal was unfairly carried out. Because at the end of every performance assessment, they sure will have some employee will come forward and file their grievances. Okay, but not all grievances are genuine. Some are because, like what you say, it will because they are worried about the bonus or the increment that they are going to get arising from this performance rating that they have been given. So because but if you investigate well, probably they are a non-performer. But because they want money, they don't want their bonus to be cut. They want to try luck and come forward and file a grievances, hoping that they will get something. We do see that kind of cases as well.
Mm.
But before we even embark into, say, mid-year assessment or year-end assessment, we always make sure that the line managers or people leaders or supervisors are engaged, and then we always reiterate to them that performance assessment has to be done fairly. There are certain processes involved, okay, self-assessment, and then conversation between the supervisor and the staff. There must be a two-way communication, all right, to evaluate. They must then look at if his performance can be quantified. There are some people the performance can be quantified. For example, production workers. Okay, the number of products they produce, the number of defects, right? So all that salespeople are driven by numbers. So we can see their achievement very easily. But the challenges will be for those people where their performance are unable to be quantified, especially those people who are working in the admin area, in the support
Mm.
function. All right. So it's very hard for us to quantify, but we can evaluate based on
Mm.
their performance, as in how much they've contributed, the output, the quality of output, the quantity of output. This is where the manager or the supervisor has to be more meticulous, because a lot of time the supervisors or the line manager, they will assess based on their memory, based on how much they can see, rather than looking at in detail on the quality and quantity of the output.
Mm.
So when they do that, and then when they are unhappy with certain stuff, they tend to give a lower rating for the staff. But so when we ask for justification, then they are unable to justify why they are giving them a low rating. And now this is not good. All right. And people wants to know where is their shortcoming. If you are unable to show, okay, your gaps are here, and then how are you expecting them to improve? And you fail the system, the manager failed the performance system.